So just for context, real quick, y'all, this is about somebody meeting somebody online and them chasing the cat, for a lack of better term. Fellas, get your life together.
When Jarrell Pryor agreed to meet a woman he connected with online, he thought it was just a first date. He had no idea it would be his last night alive. Jarrell was a proud father, a girl dad. Now that little girl has to face a world without him. No more bedtime stories, no father-daughter dances, and one day, no dad waiting at the end of the aisle to walk her into a new chapter of life. What started as a simple night out allegedly ended in a deadly setup. Indianapolis police say Jarrell was ambushed, allegedly lured into a trap by the very woman he'd hoped to get to know. She reportedly was not alone. Detectives
Think about this, man. Think about you going and wanting to meet somebody, hang out with somebody, just want human connection in the year 2025, which is that's a rough thing to ask for. Either way, you're thinking, all right, I'm gonna go hang out with this person, maybe get to know them, maybe we, spend a night together. Who knows what the situation was? And instead, you end up losing your life. Man, look, I know they say life can be unpredictable, but some things can be avoided, man. And if y'all can avoid them, it's better that you do. Like this right here.
Detectives believe she was working with her boyfriend. An alleged plan to rob Jarrell turned violent and ended in murder. I'm Kennedy Walker, and I'll walk you through the chilling final moments of Jarrell Pryor's life and the twisted betrayal that left a community searching for justice. For this story, we take you to Indianapolis, Indiana, January 2025. According to court documents obtained by Law and Crime, Jarrell Pryor's murder began with a text and ended with an alleged deadly setup. Just hours before he was killed,
man.
Police say Jarrell messaged a young woman he'd met online, 19-year-old Alexis Hawkins. The message was just 3 words: when you free. The affidavit says Hawkins responded. She told him when she was available and agreed to go on a date.
Man,
but here's
look.
where the story takes a dark turn. While she was allegedly texting Jarrell, Hawkins was reportedly messaging someone else on Instagram, her boyfriend, 18-year-old Brian Winston Jr. Investigators say Hawkins was working out the
Man, you should
details
have knew
of her
from the
date
pictures.
with Pryor while secretly
Pictures like that?
coordinating
Oh,
with Winston
they give it
behind
all
the
away.
scenes. Jarrell had no idea, no clue that Hawkins was in a relationship or that anything could go wrong. It was just a date, and maybe, if things went well, a chance to meet up again. But police say it was never about the date, it was a trap.
And what's the craziest about this is, like, this man has a daughter. Like, forget about his life for a second. Not to say that it's irrelevant or it doesn't mean anything. That's not what I'm trying to say. But I'm saying if you put that to the side for a second, his daughter now has to grow up without him in her life, for the rest of her life. And then when the details do come out to what the situation was, can you imagine losing your somebody who's very significant to your life, your growth, because somebody wanted to have money? I'm not saying, like, he's not the first person that was killed over money, or unalived over money. Probably won't be the last, unfortunately, but in a real situation, when you really look at it, that's really messed up. It's unfortunate that the world's going in this route.
That night, Jarrell met Hawkins in person. They sat together in his car, and shortly before 1 a.m., Hawkins' boyfriend allegedly appeared and opened fire. Jarrell Pryor, just 26 years old, was shot and killed. A young father, now gone. His daughter, just 2 years old, left behind. As police began their investigation, they discovered the messages between Pryor and Hawkins. They then obtained a warrant to search Hawkins' Instagram account, and what they allegedly found raised even more red flags. Investigators say she searched phrases like news today near me, and shootings Keystone, all on the day of the murder. Police also discovered that Hawkins had allegedly messaged several people asking for a ride near the location of the shooting around the time Jarrell was killed. When detectives
That's crazy because, listen, if she messaged several people, all of those people are now implicated to the crime. You didn't, and then the searching up the phrases and stuff like that. You don't think anybody else has access to your phone or will get access to your phone? They can subpoena access to your phone without you having to give them any type of consent. So it's like, why did she think that this wasn't gonna happen? But yeah, why did she think that that wasn't gonna happen? I mean, she can't be that smart. Cause looking up phrases like that's implicating you directly to the crime. Like I don't. Maybe I should. I don't know. Take some lessons before you become criminals. If that's what you want to do. I'm not trying to make light of this. I'm just saying like that is absurd.
Hawkins the following week, she allegedly claimed she couldn't remember much about that night. She reportedly insisted she didn't have a weapon and told police, "No weapon to say I did anything. My fingerprints aren't on anything." When asked if her fingerprints might be found inside of Jarrell's car, Hawkins reportedly replied, "It's not going to be on no weapon, though." But the moment investigators asked about a message she sent saying she was going to make a, quote, play, Hawkins allegedly
She basically told just then. She basically told that I didn't do it, but somebody else did it. And if you knew it was done, then you know who did it. It's almost like throwing her alleged boyfriend under the bus. Fellas, better pay attention, man. Y'all ain't no way. That's crazy. That's too much. Like all this over some intimacy. So I had to look for the right word because I didn't want to say what I really was gonna say. But all this over some intimacy on a dude who didn't know them, but even worse, on a dude who's the boyfriend. That's crazy. She's a whole hazard. There's nothing. She's a liability. There's nothing good about this chick at all.
And asked for a lawyer. She was arrested shortly after and charged with murder and robbery resulting in serious bodily injury.
Sir.
Winston was charged as well with murder, felony murder, and robbery.
I'm glad they cooked her too.
Jarrell's family is left to pick up the pieces. His parents, once looking forward to watching their son become the man and father he aspired to be, are now raising the little girl he left behind. His mother, Tamika Wiley, told WXIN, "I'm broken inside." And just weeks ago, Jarrell's parents celebrated their granddaughter's third birthday, a milestone that should have been filled with joy, laughter, and her father's love. Instead, it was a day marked by absence. No Jarrell, no hugs from dad, just a little girl too young to understand why her dad never came home. Justice may come in a courtroom, but for this family, the real sentence is living without Jarrell. And joining me to talk more about this.
Either way, though, I'm glad they cooked her because she really thought she was gonna get off. That's why she said that. The reason why she said about the whole no weapon that you're gonna find my handprints on is because she thought that because her handprints wasn't on that weapon, that they wasn't finna cook her. They showed her something different today. And I hope that going forward, that's how they deal with people who make a mockery of loss of life like that. Like that not only that, even if they went to try to do a defense for her saying that she didn't know what she was doing or whatever the case might be, that right there shows a lack of remorse. That's almost psychotic to say something like that at that point. So I'm glad that they caught that and they nipped it in the bud.
Middle school teacher is in legal jeopardy after police say she engaged in a sexual relationship with a former student despite him being a legal adult. Erica Matson was arrested after investigators say they uncovered damning evidence, including shirtless photos and intimate messages allegedly exchanged with the 18-year-old. I'm going to break down the details of this case and why this is a crime with renowned predator catcher Chris Hansen. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber.
Well, I think they're starting to...
A middle school teacher...
My opinion on this so far is that I think that they're starting to stop splitting hairs when it comes to the law and it comes to if you've worked with somebody like that was a student or whatever, and I guess if they're relatively close in age, then they starting to cook them because they believe that either way, They're starting to arrest him, but they believe that either way, I guess it's a crime. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see what they're talking about, because I'm trying to figure out how this is a crime too. I'm kind of confused.
His alleged secret double life has been exposed in a scandal that honestly reads more like a forbidden romance novel than a school disciplinary file, to be honest with you. Erica Matson, a 36-year-old middle school teacher,
Ugh, she's seen
now
better
faces
days.
felony charges after police say she crossed what is essentially an unforgivable line. Straight from the affidavit, it reads that she, quote, did engage in a romantic and sexual relationship with the victim, a student of the school. So yeah, we have another one here on Sidebar, another allegation of a teacher acting badly. And what makes this one disturbing and concerning is that authorities claim this was born out of a very vulnerable moment. So according to the explosive arrest affidavit that was obtained by Law and Crime, this alleged illicit affair began in May of 2023 when the then 18-year-old student, we'll talk about his age in a minute, the 18-year-old student found Matson apparently crying alone in her classroom at Kaleidoscope School of Discovery in Panama City, Florida, and then approached her. And what started out as this innocent check-in quickly escalated into something else, because according to the affidavit, he, the victim, advised that the two began messaging on Facebook and flirting. But then text messages, police say, soon turned into secret rendezvous when the two agreed to meet up outside of school for the first time, and that turned physical quite quickly.
So either, I'm thinking now, either the kid was 18 but still in high school, or it's a pre-existing relationship from before he turned 18, and that's how they're trying this. Because yeah, I'm still, ooh, that's a scary face. Okay.
And just as an aside to this, Matson was this student's teacher when he was in middle school, and even though he was in high school when this apparently all went down, the two schools are located in the same building, so they would have still seen each other and possibly have had contact inside that building. The principal also told investigators that the alleged victim would have had the authority to report Matson over this conduct, which makes you wonder why the student would have waited this long to raise the alarm. And we're going to get into that a little bit later too. But police say these digital exchanges soon led to an in-person meeting at a local movie theater. Two never made it inside, apparently. According to the affidavit, the victim and the defendant planned to go on a date at the VIP PC Cinemas. He, the victim, advised that they stayed in the truck and talked and made out the entire time. All right, before we get into this, I want to bring on a special guest.
So with this one, I'm gonna have y'all tell me in the comments, if y'all engage in this video, please tell me in the comments what y'all think about this one. I don't really have an opinion unless it's the way I said. If it's a pre-existing relationship, like let's say she met him when he was 16, they exchanged numbers when they were 16, they gave out they exchanged naked pictures when he was underage, then maybe I could say, okay, she's in the wrong. But with this, when they're throwing things around like, okay, he's 18, it happened after he was at the school, or I think that's what I heard. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but it doesn't seem like it took place when they were still like in the school together at the same time. So I'm not sure about this one, but I'm gonna leave this one right here.
This man spent only 3 days substitute teaching at a Florida high school, and somehow in that time still managed to allegedly have sex with a student at the school. When investigators started looking into this tip,
3 days, he ain't waste no time, did he? I mean, self-control, man. It'll take you a long way, but this is deeper than self-control, because trying to engage with kids is crazy. You know better than that. You're doing too much.
they realized this teacher was already under investigation in a nearby county for an alleged relationship with a different student. I'm Sierra Gillespie, and this is Law and
Hold on, they said he was a...
It's a disturbing story we're digging into today out of Hillsborough County.
Hold on, and he's in the military? They just said that he was under investigation for another similar case before this. So this dude's a serial offender. They gotta get him up out of here. That's crazy. And you military? I know his family is ashamed. That's insane.
Florida. That's where 39-year-old Joseph Prevet worked as a substitute teacher for a few days this fall. Between October 1st and 3rd, he subbed at Leonard High School in Ruskin, Florida. According to the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, investigators found inappropriate messages between Prevet and a student. Through the investigation, they also learned that Prevet allegedly engaged in sexual interactions with a student at the school.
Then they said, I'm sorry, I'm tripping off of this 3-day thing, because if you were only there for 3 days, you didn't even have time to come up with like a lesson plan, my guy. Like, you just got in there and started just being a vile human being. That's I mean, they gotta look into that, because that seems like it's deeply embedded. 3 days is crazy.
The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office didn't specify what exactly those sexual interactions were, but they were enough to warrant a charge for Prevet. On November 18th, he was arrested and charged with harmful explicit communication to a minor, lewd or lascivious battery. So basically, he was allegedly sexting an underage student.
This dude looked like a regular human being.
Sex with them at the school. But during the investigation for this allegation, officials in Hillsborough County learned this wasn't the first time Prevet was accused of sexual assault, specifically of a student. He'd also worked at Manatee County High School as a substitute teacher. That's only about 25 miles away from Leonard High. According to Manatee County investigators, Prevet also sent inappropriate messages with a student there. He allegedly spoke with his victim for several weeks on Instagram and even included
Instagram and Snapchat.
In the pic, he wasn't wearing any clothes, but he cropped it to exclude his genitalia. All this came to light on October 31st, when the Manatee County Sheriff's Office received a tip through Fortify FL. This is a really cool website in Florida. It's used to report suspicious activity to both law enforcement
decorated
and school
military.
officials. Now, after this tip came in, Prevet was charged with soliciting or engaging in lewd conduct with a student. He was booked into the Manatee County Jail on November 12th,
idea of trying to have fun with an underage person.
$75,000 bond. It was a week later when he was arrested and booked in Hillsborough County, and this time he's being held without bond. So there's a lot happening in this case. We've got to bring in former prosecutor and civil sex abuse attorney John Clune.
You know what I don't understand? The guy's in pretty good shape. He seems relatively well-rounded from the outside looking in. He seems like, you know, he in his photos he looks kind of confident. I don't think that if he was trying to talk to women his age, he would have had an issue. I don't know if this is about a woman or a guy. I mean, nowadays you never know. It's 2025. They didn't say what the gender of the student was, but I find that real peculiar. Like, why would you not just deal with somebody that you could deal with? I mean, you probably around adults a lot anyway. But I mean, 3 days on the job. This is what you chose to do. Being a substitute teacher. That's disgraceful, man. Alright, so guys, if you made it to the end of the video, please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, click all, that way you can get all of my notifications. Also join the Discord, the link is in the bio. The links to the original videos will be in the bio. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you watch the video, please watch it halfway through, at least. Hit the like button. And thank you guys for everything. Also, I realized we hit 100 subscribers earlier. I did not have the time to address that before I uploaded, but I will during this upload or after this upload. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.